Have you ever typed into Google, how do I buy a house in Florida without a real estate agent? If so, you are definitely not alone. Buyers are searching for this every day because they want to understand the process, save money where they can, and feel more in control of one of the biggest purchases of their lives. And the truth is, yes, you absolutely can buy a house in Florida without a real estate agent. But just because you can does not mean it is simple. I'm Valerie Barber, and in this video, I want to walk you through what is actually involved when you buy a home in Florida on your own. Not to scare you away from it, but to help you understand the moving parts, the risks, the responsibilities, and the emotional side of the process too. Because buying a home is not just about finding a house you like. It is about negotiations, timelines, inspections, title work, paperwork, money transfers, repair discussions, safety, and making good decisions while your emotions are trying to run the show. Let's talk about it. The first thing most buyers think about is finding the house itself. That sounds easy enough until you realize that viewing and scheduling properties can become its own challenge. When you are not working with a realtor, you are often trying to coordinate directly with listing agents, sellers, or whoever is handling access. You may be waiting on callbacks, trying to work around availability, or figuring out how and when you can even get into the home. And there's also a safety factor here that people do not talk about enough. Meeting strangers at vacant properties, showing up to unfamiliar locations, and sharing personal information during the process can carry risk. Safety matters. It matters for agents and it matters for buyers too. Having a professional involved often adds a layer of structure and accountability to showings that many buyers do not realize they are benefiting from. Then comes the part buyers usually expect, making an offer. This is where people tend to think negotiation only means price. It does not. Negotiation can involve price, yes, but it also involves closing costs, inspection periods, financing timelines, repair requests, personal property, occupancy dates, appraisal issues, and what happens if something goes sideways. And in real estate, something usually does need to be problem solved along the way. That is one of the biggest things buyers underestimate. Real estate is not usually a straight line from offer to closing. It's more like a series of little hurdles. Maybe the inspection reveals an issue. Maybe the appraisal comes in low. Maybe the seller cannot complete a repair on time. Maybe the survey shows an encroachment or a fence in the wrong place. Maybe the title work uncovers a lien, an old permit issue, or a problem that has to be cleared up before closing. None of these things automatically kill the deal, but they do require decisions, communication, strategy, and follow through. And if you are buying without a realtor, all of that lands on you. You are the one helping manage timelines. You are the one making sure deadlines are not missed. You are the one keeping track of when deposits are due, when inspections need to be completed, when financing contingencies expire, and when documents need to be signed and returned. In Florida, timelines matter. Missing one can cost you leverage, money, or in some cases, even your contract rights. Then let's talk about inspections. When you buy a home, you may need more than one type of inspection depending on the property. There could be a general home inspection, a 4-point inspection, a wind mitigation report, mold inspection, sewer scope, roof review, pest inspection, or something more specialized depending on the home. Knowing which professionals to call, when to call them, how quickly to get them scheduled, and how to interpret what comes back can feel like a lot if you're doing it alone or for the first time. And once those reports come in, now you have another layer of decisions to make. What is a real issue versus normal home ownership stuff? What is worth negotiating? What repair request is reasonable? What should you accept? And what should make you walk away? That is not always obvious when emotions are involved, and emotions absolutely are involved. Even the calmest buyers can feel a little overwhelmed during a purchase. One day, you are excited because you have found the one. The next day, you are stressed because the inspection report is 30 pages long and suddenly every outlet, appliance, and crack in the stucco feels terrifying. Then maybe you are frustrated because the seller did not respond as quickly as you wanted, or nervous because the lender asked for more documents, or worried because everybody keeps saying it will be fine while you are signing things you do not fully understand. That emotional part is real and it affects decision making more than people think. Now, let's talk about appraisers and surveyors, because those are two more pieces buyers may not fully think through in advance. If you are financing the property, your lender will typically require an appraisal. That appraiser is not there to protect your feelings or justify the contract price. Their role is to give an opinion of value for the lender. If that value comes in lower than expected, now you have a new negotiation and a new problem to solve. Surveyors are another important piece in many transactions. A survey can reveal boundary issues, easement concerns, encroachments, or other surprises that you really want to know before closing, not after. Again, this is all manageable, but it is one more professional, one more deadline, and one more item to coordinate. Then there is the title work. Title work is one of those things many buyers barely think about until there is a problem. The title company or closing attorney is working to make sure the property can be legally transferred and that there are no unresolved claims, liens, ownership issues, or other clouds on the title. This is incredibly important work, but buyers without representation often do not always know what questions to ask or what red flags matter most. And then we get to paperwork. There is a lot of it: contracts, addendum, disclosures, repair agreements, title documents, lender documents, insurance requests, identification requirements, wire instructions, and more. Some of it is straightforward, some of it is not. And when you are unrepresented, you need to be comfortable slowing down, reading carefully, asking questions of the appropriate professionals, and understanding what you are agreeing to. That includes being extremely careful with your money. Wire fraud is a very real concern in real estate. If you are transferring earnest money or closing funds, you need to verify instructions carefully and independently. Never trust a last minute email with changed wire instructions without confirming through a known, verified phone number. That one step can protect you from a devastating mistake. So, yes, buying without a real estate agent is possible. People do it. But when you do it, you are taking on the responsibility of coordinating people, watching deadlines, managing communication, evaluating inspection results, handling negotiations, navigating repairs, staying alert to fraud risks, and keeping yourself emotionally steady enough to make good decisions all the way to the closing table. And that is why some buyers decide they do want a realtor in their corner. Not because they are incapable of doing it themselves, but because they want someone who does this regularly, someone who can help them anticipate problems before they become bigger problems, someone who can help them schedule viewings, keep the process moving, connect them with trusted professionals, and guide them through the moments that feel confusing or stressful. I'll put it this way: I have seen transactions where everything looks simple on the surface, but behind the scenes, there were constant moving parts. Inspection items had to be sorted out, timelines had to be adjusted, people had to be reminded, questions had to be answered, emotions had to be managed, solutions had to be found. And by the time we got to the closing table, the buyer felt calm, prepared, and excited. because I had been carrying so much of that weight for them the whole time. That smooth closing did not happen by accident. It happened because there was experience behind it, structure behind it, and someone paying attention to all the little details that could have easily turned into bigger issues. Could that buyer have gone it alone? Yes, probably. But having the right guidance made the process feel smoother, cleaner, and a whole lot less overwhelming. So if you were thinking about buying a home in Florida without a real estate agent, I hope this gives you a better picture of what is really involved. It can be done, but it helps to go in with your eyes wide open. And if you decide you do want professional guidance, that is where I come in. If you have questions about the Florida home buying process, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help you understand your options, whether you want full representation or you are just trying to make sense of what comes next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.